1. France, 1990. In a medieval monastery in France, in the sun-seared stillness and stone of Provence, I listened to nuns intone Gregorian chant. Stunned, I kept hearing the old story, and my head filled with the words of Victory in Jesus, one of those childhood hymns that never leave us alone. And I heard it still at the cafe, and even later at the beach, as I dove under the cleansing flood and broken waves. But I could not name the gift that memory gave. Bimini, 2000. Strange how when I went to Bimini, it's a small island in the Bahamas, in case you don't know. Strange how when I went to Bimini, wanting only 2 weeks of island bliss, my friends there put me up in the Methodist parsonage that housed the missionaries who sometimes came to preach in the sun in the old wooden chapel by the sea, where the waves of the Gulf Stream laved and kissed unpaintable forms on rock and sand beach. That first dawn I arose to go to the Gulf Stream and stretched in the sun with my coffee, and an old islander came by, then kneeled in front of me and said, "Bless me, Father, Son. I have sinned in the sun against God's ocean, and the stanzas of my life go quick as a song." Wordless, I felt the force of some great wrong and some sudden mysterious healing as I made the sign of the cross and blessed the old man in my best lapsed Methodist fashion. I never saw him again, and now I'm not sure I saw him then. Later that morning, I went to service in the sea-seasoned chapel. First time since my novice days as a Methodist boy preacher, I had darkened old Wesley's door. I'd gone the other way for good, then studied briefly for the Anglican priesthood. When I entered the boat-timbered chapel, my friend made a signal to the sanctuary, and they all turned toward me and sang "Victory in Jesus" with bold, breathless, bellowing lungs, fishermen, boat captains roaring the song above the sea. Then tears of some old joy flowed over me. I had forgotten that once I told my Methodist friend I loved that old hymn. Later that day, she said, there would be a last walk funeral ceremony, when the islanders in immaculate white dress and formal black suits processed through the streets with a brass band. I joined the procession, and as we paraded the island and the margins of the sea, the horns and voices proclaimed, "Oh, victory in Jesus." I still did not know why it invaded me. 3. Malaga, 2005. Malaga's a small town, South Jersey, the site of a camp meeting, religious camp meeting. Malaga, 2005. Years later, I heard the song again at my mother's funeral, at the old camp meeting grounds where I'd grown up in the woods, and the cedar-tinged summers longer than sin, and rich with redemption, the blood remembers, beyond forgetful bones of Septembers, when Hank and rock and roll claimed broken spirits, and there was no precious blood atoning, no healing, no golden glory in lonely streets where no angels sang by polluted, weary seas. I stood above my mother's coffin, and time fell down like tears, and years so often lost, misplaced, erased from the old revival songbook my hands had last held in 1955. Lost in that flood, I barely heard the preacher say it was my mother's favorite song. Between stanzas, he said this. And all the long years I'd forgotten in far strange countries the words that moved me and why, until she redeemed the past with her special delivery message to me. Global priority mail, no postage due. With her chosen first funeral chant, the joyously delivered hymn an ascending shout of victory beyond all irony that binds us all forever, held fast at least as song, long as the song lasts, in love transcending doubt.